Just when we thought things were calming down a bit, we now have governors calling on the president to issue $1,700 refund payments for millions and millions of people across the country. And this comes on the back of that Supreme Court ruling just the other day, striking down the tariffs and putting a lot of confusion and concern around that $2,000 dividend payment or $2,000 stimulus check that the president has been talking about since October and November of last year. Well, yes, that did add some confusion, but remember, the president almost immediately reinstituted a 10% global duty, like right away on Friday after the announcement out of the Supreme Court. And now, literally a short time later, we have these governors coming out and saying, hey, administration, now let's issue a check to people, again, millions and millions of people across the country, in the amount of $1,700. This is getting very interesting. And again, this is good. This could be really good for the people. Just as I talked about yesterday in that separate video, I said, hey, this could actually possibly turn into a good thing for people because it could possibly bring in even more money and issue even more payments to the individuals, again, through dividends, through refund payments, whatever it happens to be. All right, I have this article right here. I'm going to pop this up in just a second. We're going to talk through the details on this, who these governors are, how much they're calling on. This is actually getting very interesting. Now, quick side note, let's address the elephant in the room. If you're wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses, if you didn't see my videos from yesterday, as many of you know, I'm blind. My eyes are very, very sensitive to light, and I've just been really struggling with light sensitivity lately. I'm not going to wear them all the time. I hope not anyway. Hopefully this will not be the new standard. My eyes are just burning so much lately. I just need a little reprieve from the lights. I appreciate your understanding. Thank you so much for understanding. All right, anyway, let's pop this article up right here, right now. Feel free to read through the details on this. This is getting very, very, very interesting. All right, so obviously, a couple days ago, we got the Supreme Court ruling out on the tariffs, striking down the IEEPA tariffs, IEEPA tariffs, and basically saying that these are illegal and unlawful, therefore they need to be repealed immediately. So then obviously the president came in, signs the executive order implementing the 10% duty on all countries globally, basically just a few hours after that announcement out of the Supreme Court. Now we have California Governor Gavin Newsom and the Illinois governor, both of which coming out calling on the president to issue refund payments in the amount of $1,700, okay? So as you can see in this article here, Gavin Newsom, again, California governor, calling on basically the president, for these payments because they have indicated that the average American household has paid $1,751 from basically early 2025 through January 2026, the average household has paid an additional $1,751 because of the implementation of the tariffs, which is interesting because I just had that video out on Friday evening where I was talking about the average household paying, again, about $1,000 last year, suspected to increase by 30% this year as well because of the tariff increases, okay? All right, now that's that. Now, the Illinois governor has also come out issuing some statements and calling on the president to issue $1,700 refund payments and basically sending the administration, this is kind of funny, an invoice and saying it's delinquent. In other words, it's past due of multiple billions of dollars for the individuals in the state of Illinois, on average $1,700 payments, right? Now, I would imagine going forward here, this is not going to be the end of these governors that are coming out calling on the administration to basically refund money to the American people because of the extra cost because of the tariffs. Now, one thing I want to clarify really quickly, there's still a lot of indecision and there's still uncertainty on the potential refunds of the billions of dollars because of the tariffs. We still don't know if those will ever be refunded. I'm going to say this much. And when I say refunded, I mean to like businesses, small, medium, and large. All these huge corporations out there that have literally sued the administration saying that you need to repeal the tariffs and things like that. The whole discussion on the refunds of that tariff money is still up in the air. They don't know if that'll ever be refunded. And as the president indicated on Friday, it could sit in court for years before they come up with a decision if they're actually going to refund that or not. So I'm just going to say this much. I wouldn't suspect that it's ever going to be refunded, at least to businesses. But again, that doesn't mean that the administration couldn't possibly issue some type of refund to the people as well, right? Businesses and people, totally different things. And as I mentioned yesterday in the videos as well, the administration, the president really needs a win right now. Like he needs a big win right now, especially for the people and for the midterm election coming up. Honestly, not that much later in this year, right? Obviously November, but we're already, pushing a few months into the year so far, which is, the year zipping right on by. So Pretty interesting stuff. Now, as well, I want to point something else out because a lot of people are going to think that just because the tariffs have been struck down by the Supreme Court, that all of these prices across the economy, for goods and services are going to start dropping like flies, right? Oh, they're going to start coming down so massively. We're going to see huge price reductions across the board. No, we're not. No, absolutely not. We're not going to, okay? So that's one of the misconceptions out there that, things are going to come down in price so much, we're going to see huge discounts on everything. That's not how it works because remember, these businesses, again, wholesalers, importers, retailers, whoever it happens to be, all the people within the supply chain that have bought these items that they have on their store shelves awaiting us to buy, right, out in the stores, they paid those higher prices because of the tariffs. They're not just going to all of a sudden drop their prices because the tariffs have been repealed. No, they paid that higher price to get those products onto their store shelves. Therefore, prices are not going to budge on this. Prices will not move on this. Prices will definitely 100% not come down because of the repeal of the tariffs. And again, I know that kind of pushes back against some of the headlines that you've probably seen out there saying, oh yeah, prices will come down. No, unfortunately, they will not. If anything, prices may not rise as rapidly as they have been over the last couple of years because of the tariffs and, the last, I should say, year or so, because of inflationary pressures and too much money printing and the tariffs and all things like that. If anything, we may see inflation slow down a little bit, but not much. It's not going to be much at all, because those pressures are still coming through and put on those products that we're still buying out at our stores and still available for purchase out at our retail stores, right? Does that kind of make sense? So we're not going to see that. If anything, if we do see price pressures ease on products at our stores, it's going to take several months for that to come through. We're not going to see anything as far as pricing, maybe a little bit of relief in like multiple months from right now. I would say like 4, 5, 6 months. If we see anything at all, it's going to take several months because everything that's currently in inventory with these retailers, they paid those higher prices and they're not just going to eat that margin, right? They need that to keep the lights on as far as businesses. So I hope that kind of clarifies a little bit, but let's see what happens here. This is interesting. And again, in regards to those remarks out of the president on Friday, consistent with the executive order that he signed. Again, you saw my video from yesterday talking about the executive order. He signed an executive order. He is going through the process. Him, the president, the administration, they're going through the process of doing what they can to reinstate basically like-kind tariffs and duties, and they're going to do this quickly. They've already got 10% implemented right away Friday evening, okay? So they're going to bring these back. So all the people out there that say, oh no, the tariffs are gone, this is going to help out a ton, it might slow things down for like a small amount of time, but this administration is going to bring those duties right on back, and they have 3 different levers that they can pull. They currently have 3 levers. The president already used one of the levers via executive order that I talked about yesterday, and he has 2 other levers that he can pull to reinstitute these duties practically immediately. Okay, so it's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. And according to the remarks out of the president, he believes that this could actually bring in more money than what was even being brought in through the IEEPA tariffs, the ones that were struck down by the Supreme Court. This isn't over yet. This is definitely not over yet. And we've got a lot of drama, we've got a lot of chaos, and we've got a lot of big developments coming out here in the coming days, weeks, and months here. This is going to be very, very interesting. Either way, let's see what the president says, what the administration says on these $1,700 refund payments. This could be very, very interesting, and I would imagine there's going to be a number of governors coming out that are going to start echoing the reimbursement of thousands of dollars to people because of the higher prices that we've paid, right? So one quick side note, last side note that I'm going to point out here, then I'll jump off of this, which is if the president does actually issue $1,700 or $2,000 refund payments or dividend payments, what's that going to do? It's going to be inflationary. Again, right? It's going to be inflationary. So what that's going to do is it's literally going to drive up prices even more on goods and services across the country because it's going to be a whole bunch of money, hundreds of billions of dollars, chasing the same amount of goods and services, which will drive more demand with limited or finite supply, and therefore prices must rise. Simple supply and demand stuff, okay? So all that's going to do, if they do issue it, don't get me wrong, it'd be very, very helpful. We would love to see it. I'm not sure about you. I would love to see $1,700 or $2,000 hit my bank account, just spontaneously. I would love that. I would love that. Honestly, all I would do with it is I would literally just pay off a credit card. Well, I shouldn't say pay off. I would put it toward a balance on a credit card. So nothing exciting here. I would literally just pay down a credit card with it. But a lot of other people would be out there spending it. And because of that spending, it would drive prices higher, causing more inflationary pressure. interesting time we're in right now. Anyway, I'm here for you. Again, thank you so much for your continued support. Truly appreciate you. And again, thank you for the hopefully short-term disruption with the sunglasses. Again, I know it may be annoying, but again, I have well over 6,000 videos here on the channel without sunglasses. My eyes are just freaking out right now. I just need a little bit of relief. I appreciate it. Hopefully this will not be the norm going forward, but periodically for sure it probably will be. Thank you so much for your understanding. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, again, please subscribe if you're new here. 100% free. Big subscribe button down below. Please share the video. Big share button down below. Otherwise, check out the well over 6,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. Until next time, have a nice day. Again, take care. This is a wild time right now. Very interesting. And I'll catch you again later in the next video.